Hello, my friends. This is Lynda Lippin, and welcome to the Pilates Goddess podcast. Well, hello, my friends. Welcome again to the Pilates Goddess podcast. I can't believe that I'm back on like some kind of podcast schedule, but given how life is, I'm really, really excited about that. So, welcome. My last episode was more geared toward new Pilates teachers. But I'm also seeing some frustration amongst Pilates teachers who feel like they might have gone through the wrong teacher training, who maybe don't want to do a full bridge program, but do want to experience kind of other ways of teaching Pilates, who may also say have only been teaching mat or only reformer. For a number of years and are maybe bored and just interested in experiencing the basics of Pilates in a new way. And just kind of getting, again, back to basics, right? So what I'm seeing and feeling a lot of in the studio right now is I'm getting a lot of people coming to group classes who want to understand actually classical Pilates. Like some of them have only done megaformer classes, or they've only been to Club Pilates, or they've only done like a 40-person contemporary mat class at, Crunch. And workout wise, they may have only go to Barry's boot camp, or they only, go to high intensity and strength classes. And some of them realize that Pilates for them doesn't need necessarily to be that. Okay. If you're a teacher who's experiencing this and you're kind of not sure where to go with it, I want to kind of parse that out right now. All right. Number one, some of these people just may not be your ideal client. I've realized that for myself. I've realized that in other conversations that I'm having, with my Pilates Teacher Mastermind VIP members in their coaching sessions and in other coaching with Pilates professionals, that some of us are actually feeling like we need to move towards more HIIT or more flowery workouts. But I'm finding that although I do get those folks in my classes, the folks who continue with me in the studio for privates and semi-privates are actually the folks who want to slow down and really learn the Pilates and understand what they're doing, understand why they're doing things, and get a sense of the work. They appreciate the fact that there is consistency in order of the exercises. Yes, some people might get bored with that, okay? And there are ways of changing up order or even keeping the order, but changing up the exercises just a little bit to, make it exciting for the clients. I'm going to give you an example of this, all right? I a couple of weeks ago started my foundation mat class with standing footwork. All right. Not necessarily beginner exercise, but again, I've got, a mix of people coming to the class, and we started with standing footwork, which most people had never done. Then we got on the mat and we did the 100, but instead of just holding the legs steady, we worked on a controlled scissor of the legs while they were in the 100. Then we went into just plain roll up, which everyone was super excited to do because the first two exercises were a surprise and kind of took it out of them. And we went from there. So you can, in fact, change things up while not changing things up. And that's kind of the beauty of the classical Pilates learning, right? Is changing things up without changing things up so that people get enough consistency that they see when they're getting stronger, they see when they're doing better, they notice the difference, okay, in how they're performing or how they're feeling while they're performing an exercise or all of the exercises. And they're also kind of getting, a slight difference, which keeps it interesting and keeps it exciting and keeps them on their toes. And then sometimes I just throw all of that out and just go through the series plain and simple again, so that people go through the flow a little bit more and they kind of understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. And that's really, what it's about for me. And the consistency is part of the key. Okay, the consistency in the series, the consistency in what you're asking people to do with their bodies, comes out of you understanding that beginning and intermediate work in your own body. And a lot of times we just kind of want to move towards the high intermediate to advanced work to challenge our clients, when most of our clients actually don't need that. What most of our clients need, in the same way that like my body doesn't need a lot of the advanced work, my body needs the basics. Even in my strength workouts, I do a lot of basics. I do a lot of different squats. I do different deadlifts. I do overhead presses. I do bicep curls and tricep extensions. I do rowing for my back, right? I mean, and in my Pilates, it's the same way. I would love every Pilates teacher, no matter how long you've been teaching, to be so familiar with the work that it is just in you, that you know the order, you understand it in your body, and then you are easily able to teach on the fly. That way, when the person comes in with the hip replacement and the person comes in with the osteoporosis and the person comes in with the neck thing, you kind of already know how you might modify for those people. And then you can take everyone through the same series and then offer the modifications to the people who need them. I said this in the last episode, and I'm going to say this again. If you're doing things that feel absolutely terrible in your body, so you hate them, stop doing those things. Fall back in love with the system by going back to basics and feeling the work in your own body. I've been reading some comments from teachers who finished their teacher training but felt like they were so pushed to teach more, that they lost the sense of their own practice. And I would love for all of you to come back to a sense of your own practice. Even if I do a studio workout, okay, I don't do a workout that's ever longer than 30 to 40 minutes for my own body. That's about all my attention can take right now. And that's okay. And I kind of know what I want to accomplish in terms of my workout, what my body needs. And again, I click myself through the series. I get on the reformer. I do my footwork. I do my 100. I might do them on 3 springs if I'm feeling particularly tight, compressed, or in pain. Okay. I generally don't do short spine. It tends to bother my neck and bother my sacroiliac instability later on. So then I might do leg circles and frog instead. I do coordination. Then I might go over and I do some swan on the barrel. Or I do swan, the modified swan, where you're laying on the long box, head toward the foot bar, hands on the bar. Then I might do pull straps and T. I might do backstroke, since again, I'm not going into a whole lot of lumbar flexion there, so it doesn't feel bad for me. uh and then I just go through the series. I do the short box, I do the things. Again, I don't do the same thing every single time. I might bring in other pieces of the apparatus since I'm in a fully equipped studio, but I still work my body in ways that feel good to it. I don't do a lot of flowery, choreographically challenging stuff. I keep it simple. I keep it basic. And every once in a while, I'll just bust out with the splits, or I will bust out with a semicircle, or I will bust out with snake and twist because I'm having a strong day and those feel good for my body. But I don't feel like, even as a master teacher, that I have to do those all the time, or that I have to do every single exercise, because right now every single exercise isn't good for me and doesn't feel good in my body. I also am a firm believer that the whole rest of the Pilates system, all of the shapes, all of the things, can be found in the beginning and intermediate mat and reformer. There's very, very little that shows up on anything in the Pilates studio that cannot be brought back to those basic and beginner and intermediate exercises. So if this is something that interests you and you want to do more of this and you want to continue with this, I've got kind of a few paths for you. Number one is I do teach privates online to Pilates teachers at a pretty major discount. So I will put the link for that in the show notes, and I would share the videos with you. And you could do it in your studio or do mat, whatever you want, and have that to kind of as a reference. I also have my Pilates Teacher Mastermind VIP program where we do coaching sessions, and I'm going to start doing workouts with those groups as well. And that you can either join monthly or annually, and it's $47 a month, and you have access to, probably over 100 hours of continuing education videos and audios, plus new stuff that I'm doing, including discounts on continuing ed and workshops. And then finally, we have my upcoming Back to Basics workshop, which is both live in the studio at Bombshell Pilates on West 20th in Lower Manhattan, or you can live stream it or just do the recordings via Zoom. And that will happen on April 8th and April 15th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Week 1 is all mat. Week 2 is all reformer. We are just going to do the beginning and intermediate work, experience it, teach it to each other, ask questions, get them answered, and really understand what's going on with that, so we can then bring that understanding back into a new and refreshed and awesome teaching for our clients. All right. I just want to make things easier for you guys. And if you want to do the workshop and you register soon, use code EARLYBIRD, one word, EARLYBIRD, and you'll save 10%. Okay. That code will not be good forever. I think I set it to be good until maybe the end of the second week in May. And I would love to see you guys either virtually or live. So thanks so much for listening. If you love the podcast, please leave a rating and a written review. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Pilates Goddess podcast. Music brought to you by Nerd Salad. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts, especially if you liked it. And please like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks.